Hi, this is Evan Sohn from recruiter.com. So here we are 2 years later since the pandemic started. Just thinking about where I was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we were in the tightest job market of all time. You couldn't find people. It was the lowest unemployment in history. We were thinking about remote work as, gee, does it make sense to go remote or not? We were a virtual operation at recruiter.com, so that made it a little easier to discuss. And I didn't have this wall all set up so nicely. Zooming was something that we did every now and then. It wasn't a way of life. And most of us commuted to work at least a few days a week, if not all the time. So here we are 2 years later. And while to say the world's changed a little bit is really an understatement. And I'm not going to talk about geopolitical side things of what's going on over in Russia and Ukraine, but really focusing on the job market. I think one of the things that's really changed in looking at our recruiter index and looking at the candidates that our recruiters talk to is really the priorities. Priorities have changed. Compensation is no longer the most important thing for people. The work-life balance, remote work, new experiences. And this is all building itself up where employees are not sticking around in a job that they don't like anymore. There's no longer a parent or grandparent saying, oh, you got to stay there for 4 years and suck it up because no one wants to be a job hopper. That just doesn't exist anymore, and certainly not in any major way. So these are all the things that are changing. I think fundamentally, 2 years ago or 2+ years ago, finding a job was a full-time job, and now finding people is a full-time job. It's so easy to apply for a job now. I didn't say get the job. I said it's so easy to apply for a job. It's easy to interview for a job. We're home or we're working remotely, and we have access to video technology like Zoom, where we could just interview instead of putting on business attire and traveling to that office for half a day. So things really have changed. And as a company, we've also changed. And we started to think about not just how hard it is to find people using recruiters, but really powering those recruiters with new technology. And we invested so much in the last 2 years, millions of dollars in our AI software to help our clients and hiring managers find talent throughout the entire planet. We have 170 million profiles just in the US alone, and we use our tools to find and engage and get these candidates to raise their hand and say, yes, I'm interested in exploring this opportunity. And then we use the on-demand recruiters to screen them and further qualify them and get them ready for interviews and ready to work. And this has really changed. We're dealing with a labor shortage on the work collar. The work collar world, we're seeing wage inflation there and serious attrition as people cross the street for an extra 50 cents an hour. We're also seeing the Great Resignation, people leaving in droves at a higher level than ever before. And finally, the job hopper economy that's here to stay. And so here we are 2 years later. We're a larger company than we were 2 years ago. We have more clients now. We have more infrastructure. We've invested more into solving today's problems of recruiting talent. But at the end of the day here, our mission is always about the human connectivity between hiring and the people itself. Recruiting is a human interaction. As we often say, no one goes to work at a company, whether it's the dishwasher or the chief product officer, without actually speaking to somebody. And we're just making that process better and faster, certainly for 2022 and beyond. So we look forward to the next 2 years, and we're really grateful that we made it through the last two.